గుడ్ మార్నింగ్, శుభోదయం, సత్ శ్రీ అకాల్. ఈరోజు మనం కొన్ని కూరగాయల్ని పంజాబీలో ఏమంటారో తెలుసుకుందాం. వంకాయ వంటి కూరయు, పంకజముకి సీత వంటి భామామణియు, శంకరుని వంటి దైవము, లంకాదిపి వైరి వంటి రాజు ఇలంకలరే అన్నారు. అలాగే అన్ని కూరగాయల్లోకి మాణిక్యం లాంటిది వంకాయ. దాంతో మొదలు పెడదాం మనం. వంకాయని పంజాబీ భాషలో బైంగనా అంటారు. దొండకాయ ఖీరా, మిర్చి మిరాక, దోసకాయ సాయిబరా, సొరకాయ లరమే లౌకి, పొట్లకాయ సాపాలౌకి, క్యాబేజీ పటాగోబీ, క్యాలీఫ్లవర్ ఫూలా గోబీ, టమాటో టమాటర్, బెండకాయ ఇస్టరీ ఉంగళ, క్యాప్సికమ్ కైపసికామ, కొబ్బరి నారియల, మునగ గరమసతిక, బంగాళాదుంప ఆలు, చామదుంప సుకదర, ముల్లంగి మూలి, క్యారెట్ గాజర, అరటికాయ కేలాకయ్య. సో ఇవి కొన్ని కూరగాయల పేర్లు పంజాబీలో. మరలా రేపు ఇదే టైంకి మరికొన్ని పంజాబీ భాష విశేషాలతోటి మళ్ళీ కలుసుకుందాం. అంటిల్ దెన్ హ్యావ్ ఏ నైస్ డే. థ్యాంక్ యూ. బాయ్ బాయ్.
This is the diagram of female reproductive system. In female reproductive system, it has a pair of ovaries and tube-like structures are called fallopian tube or oviduct. This is the uterine fundus, and the last part is uterus, cervix, cervical canal, and last one is vagina. The fallopian tube again divided into three regions. The tube-like structure is called isthmus, bend-like structure is ampulla, and finger-like projections. The end part of the fallopian tube is called as infungibulum. Every month at the 14th day of menstrual cycle, female organisms release ovary from left or right side of the ovaries. Every month only one ovary can produce egg. When sperm cells are enter into the uterus part of the reproductive system, if it reach the uterus area, some number of sperm cells are enter into the uterus area. At the time, if our ovaries are already released the egg is collected by the infungibulum of the fallopian tube. The fallopian tube collect the egg. This egg is transported through the fallopian tube. At the time, the sperm cells are reached to the fallopian tube, either this side or this side. Sometimes some sperm cells are enter into the left or right. Most of the sperm cells are degenerated. When the sperm cells are reached to the fallopian tube, at the time the egg is fused with sperm cell. For example, this one is egg and this is sperm cell. Egg, sperm cells are enter into the egg. Then finally we get zygote. Here zygote is formed. The zygote is moved toward the uterus. Already in previous sessions we discussed about gamete formation, insemination, fertilization. Here fertilization takes place. At the fallopian tube, fertilization takes place. After fertilization, the zygote divides into many divisions to form blastula stage. This blastuli is enter into the uterus area for implantation. After implantation, if zygote is implanted here, after 9 months it become like a fetus or embryo. Here uterus is made up of 3 layers. First layer is endometrium, myometrium, perimetrium. These layers are form the layers to protect the embryo, especially placenta layer. Here the baby is formed after 9 months. It's expelled out of the vagina. This is the main important thing of layers of the uterus. Another important topic which is related to the reproductive system. The reproductive system is female reproductive system. Female reproductive system. Already we discussed about male reproductive system. In male reproductive system, primary sex organs are testes, which is released the gametes. They are called as sperms. Like that, here female reproductive system, it has primary sex organs. The primary sex organs are called as ovaries. Primary sex organs are ovaries. These primary sex organs are commonly called as ovaries. These ovaries release ovum or egg. And second important reproductive part is fallopian tube. Third one is uterus. Fourth one is, next one is vagina. Next one is vulva. These are the main reproductive parts in female reproductive system. Actually, we discussed in this topic, we discussed about these topics. Now let's draw the diagram of the female reproductive system. In female reproductive system, we observe a pair of ovaries. The ovary is actually, it is in almond shape. Here, let me write here. Structure of ovary. Almond shape. It's about 8 centimeters long, 5 centimeters wide. What is the use of this ovary? To release eggs and some hormones also. Eggs and hormones. The ovary, it is in almond shape. It is about 8 centimeters to 8 centimeters long and 5 centimeters width. It's release egg and some hormones which helps to reproduction process. The ovary, it is attached to the abdominal cavity. Actually, both sides we have 2 ovaries. These 2 ovaries, right ovary, left ovary. Each ovary, it is attached to the abdominal cavity of the body. Ovaries are attached to the abdominal cavity of the body by some connective tissue. The connective tissue is called as mesovarium. Each side. Ovaries, a pair of ovaries. A pair of ovary, each ovary it is in almond shape, 8 centimeters long, 5 centimeters width. It's release eggs and some hormones. Each ovary it is attached to the abdominal cavity by mesovarium connective tissue. And when the egg is released by ovary, the eggs are collected by the funnel-like structure. This funnel-like structure it has some finger-like projections which is to collect the eggs from the ovary. Actually, these finger-like projections always give some contractions to observe whenever the ovary when it release the egg, the eggs are collected by the funnel-like structure. This is the ovary and this is the fallopian tube. First part of the fallopian tube. This is called as isthmus. The finger-like projection is called as isthmus. From the isthmus, it collect the egg to enter into the fallopian tube. The finger-like projection is called as isthmus or isthmus. Which is collect the egg from the ovaries. And here let me write the spelling. Infundibulum. Finger-like projections are called as infundibulum. The infundibulum structure is a finger-like structure which is collect the eggs from the ovaries. Then the funnel-like structure, here tube-like structure. The entire structure is called as fallopian tube. The entire structure is called as fallopian tube. Finger-like projection, tube-like structure, broader end structure. These three structures called as fallopian tube. The first finger-like projections are called as infundibulum. Broader side is called as ampulla, and the tube-like structure is called as isthmus. And again, it gives rise to the broader side like this. This is the structure of uterus. And this is ovary. Connective tissue is called as mesovarium, and here egg is released to the fallopian tube collected by infundibulum. The next part is ampulla. Tube-like structure is called as isthmus. The knob-like structure is called as fundus. In ampulla region there is a specialty. Here fertilization takes place. Whenever the sperm cells are enter into the uterus of the female body, it moves towards the fundus, from the fundus to isthmus to ampulla region. Here ovaries are collected by an infundibulum. These ovaries are reached to the ampulla region, then egg, and here sperm cell. Both together to form zygote. It means fertilization takes place here. And then this is another fallopian tube. Here finger-like projections to collect egg. And these are two ovaries. Here the bag-like structure is called as uterus. What is that? Uterus. The uterus, it is very, very important, plays a major role to develop the embryo. The uterus, it is made up of 3 layers. Outer layer is called as perimetrium. It is fibrous tissue. It is made up of fibrous tissue. And second one is mesometrium. And third, it is a highly vascular tissue. It is made up of highly vascular tissue. This is called as endometrium. It is highly vascular connective tissue. Bag-like structure or funnel-like structure is called as uterus. The uterus is made up of 3 layers. Outer layer is perimetrium, middle layer is mesometrium, third and middle from the inside of the uterus, third layer is endometrium. It is having highly vascular. That means it has number of blood vessels. Here, implantation takes place. Whenever the egg is fused with the sperm cell, zygote is formed. The zygote is moved towards the isthmus and reach to the uterus part. From the uterus, it attached to the endometrium layer or endometrium lining. Implantation takes place here. Then further development also takes place here, and placenta formation also starts here. And then let me draw the diagram of female reproductive system roughly. Ovaries here, another ovary which is connected to the uterus. Actually, uterus is connected by connective tissue. Ovary which is connected to the back of the abdominal cavity, and one side is connected to the abdominal cavity, other side which is connected to the uterus of the body. Infundibulum to collect the eggs. Here infundibulum, ampulla, isthmus, fundus, ovary. This is ovarian connective tissue which is connect the ovary to the uterus wall. The uterus, it is made up of 3 layers. First layer is perimetrium. It is a fibrous tissue. Second layer is called mesometrium. And next, third important layer is endometrium. Funnel-like structure or bulge-like structure is called as uterus. The uterus is made up of 3 layers and embryonic implantation takes place here. The uterus is made up of 3 layers: perimetrium, mesometrium and endometrium. The end part of the uterus is called as cervix. It has 2 openings. First opening, which is from the uterus, that is internal orifice, that is upper internal orifice, and second one is lower external orifice. Cervix, it is a open area or empty area. It has a moisture tissue. The upper part which is connected to the uterus, it is upper internal orifice or an upper internal opening. The end part of the uterus is, that is, lower external orifice or opening. And next part is vagina. This vagina, it is covered by simple connective tissue, that is hymen. What is that? Hymen. And vagina, it is made up of carotenoid connective tissue. This is the entire structure of the female reproductive system. Next one is internal structure of the ovary. The structure of the female reproductive system, just to see the slide, to observe neatly, to learn more topics related to this topic, and then come to the internal structure of the ovary. The next important accessory reproductive glands of female. The main important gland is mammary gland. It is a characteristic of all female mammals. The mammary glands are paired structure. It is commonly called as breast. It contains glandular tissue. And variable amount of fat. The front part is made up of fat tissues. Posterior and anterior part of the breast is made up of number of fat globules. These are the fat globules. And here it contains glandular tissue. Each glandular tissue divided into 15 to 20 mammary lobes. This one is one of the mammary lobe. Each lobe contains clusters of cells like alveoles. For example, if we observe, this is a lobe. This lobe, it contains number of clusters. Each cluster is called as alveolus. This is the alveolus, mammary alveolus. The entire structure is called as mammary lobe. This is the entire structure. Here 15 to 20 mammary lobes are here. Each lobe is divided into mammary alveolus. And the cells of the alveoles, these alveoles are secrete the milk. Which is stored in cavity of the alveole. The alveoles secrete the milk and as well as it store the milk. The alveoles are open into the mammary tubules. This is the mammary tubule or mammary duct. These tubules of each lobe join to form a mammary duct. For example, this is mammary lobe, mammary alveoles. Each mammary alveole is divided into many branches. Each branch is again connected with a duct or tube. This is the mammary duct. Each duct again to form ampulla. What is that? Ampulla. Several mammary ducts join to form number of mammary ducts. Here number of mammary ducts are here. Each duct is joined to form ampulla. These ampulla which is connect the lactiferous duct. This one is mammary lobe. Mammary lobe contain number of mammary alveoles. Each mammary lobe it connect to mammary duct. Again the number of mammary ducts connected to ampulla. This ampulla is connected to lactiferous duct. Through the lactiferous duct, which milk is sucked out by the baby. The anterior part or front part of the breast is called as nipple. The entire structure is called as areola. This is the very important mammary gland to produce the milk, and it is modified of sweat gland. This picture represents the spermatogenesis. This spermatogenesis present in testis. These cells are spermatogonium or spermatogonia. They are immature cells. What is that? Immature spermatogonium cells are, these are the immature germ cells. they produce sperms by spermatogenesis. Production of sperms are called as spermatogenesis from the spermogonium at the age of puberty. The spermogonium cells multiplied by number of mitotic divisions. That means one spermogonium divided into two. That means one cell divided into two, 2 to 4, 4 to 6 or 4 to 8 like that. That means each spermogonium immature cells are involved in mitotic division to produce number of cells. Each spermogonium cell are in diploid state. Diploid state because they are involved in mitotic division and contain 46 chromosomes. Some of the spermogonium cells develop into primary spermatocyte. These cells are called as spermogonium. These spermogoniums are participate in mitotic division to produce number of cells. Some of the cells are called as primary spermatocytes. They complete first meiotic division. Spermatogonium cells are involved in mitotic. After formation of spermatocytes, they are participate in meiosis or meiotic division, leads to formation of two equal size of haploid cells. That means one set of chromosomes. Here two sets of chromosomes. Spermatogoniums are two sets of chromosomes. Primary spermatocytes are having one set of chromosomes. They are in haploid state. Here 46 chromosomes. Here 23 chromosomes each. Then the secondary spermatocytes undergo the secondary mitotic division to produce four equal size of haploid. They are called as spermatids. The cells are called as spermogonium. They divide into two by the process of mitotic division. These cells are involved in many divisions to produce primary spermatocytes. They participate in meiotic division. Again, these cells are divided many divisions to produce secondary spermatocytes. These secondary spermatocytes produce spermatids. What is that? Spermatids. The spermatids are transferred into sperm cells. These spermatids are again formed into number of sperm cells. After spermatogenesis, sperm's head become embedded into the serotic cells to get nutrients from that, and finally released these sperm cells to the seminiferal tubules. To produce the sperm cells, some hormones are secreted at the age of puberty. What are those hormones? The hormones are like GnRH. It means gonadotropin cleaning hormone. FSH, follicle stimulating hormone. LH. What is that? LH, luteinizing hormones. These luteinizing hormone cells stimulate the secretion of androgens. What are androgens here? Sperm cells. To produce the number of cells. How these cells are like a very healthy motiling capacity cells. Then FSH, follicle stimulating hormone, act on Seroti cells. Follicle stimulating hormone act on Seroti cells and stimulate the secretion of factors which help in the process of spermatogenesis or spermiogenesis. These cells are involved in spermatogenesis. This is the entire process of spermatogenesis. Structure of mature spermatozoan. This is the structure of spermatozoa or sperm cell, which is released by male reproductive system. The spermatozoon is a microscopic structure. It composed of head region, neck region, middle piece, the end one is tail. A plasma membrane which is envelop the entire whole body of the spermatozoon. This is the plasma membrane which is covered entire body of the sperm cell. The head of the spermatozoon contain an elongated haploid nucleus. It has nucleus which is in haploid state. Haploid state. It indicates N. The head is covered by a cap-like structure. The structure is acrosome. The head region, it has cap-like structure. The cap is called as acrosome. The acrosome contains numerous enzymes which helps in fertilization of a ovum. The acrosome, it contains numerous enzymes like the enzymes are like prostate, protease. Next enzyme is acid phosphatase, and last one is hyaluronidase. These are the main enzymes which is present in acrosome region, which is helps in penetrate into the ovum. The middle piece, it possesses numerous mitochondria. These are the number of mitochondria which produce energy to movement of the tail. The sperm motility is essential for fertilization. A human male ejaculates about 200 to 300 millions of sperms during coitus. In this 200 to 300 millions, only 60% of the sperms are equal in size. Remaining 40% of them must show vigorous movement for normal fertilization. Sperm cells which is release enzymes. The enzymes which helps in fertilization process. The plasma along with sperm consists of semen. It means secretion of the epididymis, vas deferens, seminal vesicles and prostates are essential for maturation and motility of sperm. The function of the male sex accessory ducts are glands and maintained by the testicular hormones. Next one is internal structure of ovary. Internal structure of ovary. In female reproductive system, already we discussed about the structure of ovary. The shape of the ovary is almond shape. Almond shape of the ovary. It's about 8 centimeters long, 5 centimeters width. The outer surface of the ovary, which is covered by membrane. The membrane is called as tunica albuginum. The ovary, which is in almond shape, it is about 8 centimeters long, 5 centimeters width. The outer cover of the or outer layer of the ovary is called as tunica albuginea. And the entire ovary, it is differentiated by two types of connective tissue. The outer connective tissue is called cortex region. This is cortex, and inside of the ovary is medulla region. Cortex, reticular connective tissue, medulla, areolar connective tissue. If you observe the structure of ovary, which is connected to the uterine wall, this is infundibulum. Next, fallopian tube. If you observe the internal structure of the ovary, there are primary oocytes. Here number of cells are called as primary oocytes. These primary oocytes are group of cells. One of the cell is act as ovum. After development of primary oocyte, it's released egg. After number of divisions, it's produced mass of cells. This is mass of cells. One of the cell is act as secondary oocyte. Secondary oocyte. Remaining cells are surrounded by the secondary oocyte. After number of divisions are after development of the secondary oocyte, it is called as Graafian follicle. Called as Graafian follicle. First, primary oocyte. After number of divisions or development, after development, it produce group of cells. One of the cell is act as a Graafian follicle to produce the egg. This is called as secondary oocyte surrounded by the number of cells. The entire structure is called as Graafian follicle. The Graafian follicle to produce secondary oocyte, it is actually it is not well developed egg. After number of developments or after number of divisions, the secondary oocyte enter into the next stage, that is egg or ovum. From here, the Graafian follicle is ruptured. The Graafian follicle is ruptured. The secondary oocyte comes out from the follicle or from the layer. This is ruptured Graafian follicle. From the ruptured Graafian follicle, we can get secondary oocyte or next stage of ovum or egg. And then the ruptured Graafian follicle like this. The ruptured Graafian follicle is commonly called as carpus hemorrhagian, and then it's this is carpus hemorrhagian, and then carpus luteum. Actually, ruptured Graafian follicle is actually commonly called as carpus luteum. Actually, scientific word is carpus hemorrhagian. It means it's released some amount of blood after releasing of the secondary oocyte. Then the carpus hemorrhagian is again enter into the next stage. The stage is called as carpus luteum. Then then the corpus luteum again enter into another stage, that is disappearing stage. The disappearing stage is called as corpus albuginous. Here three important words. First word is corpus haemorrhagian, second one is corpus luteum, and then corpus albuginous. The corpus luteum acts as temporary endocrine gland which produce progesterone. To produce the hormone is called as progesterone. This is the structure of ovary. Primary oocyte. After number of divisions or after number of developments, it produces Graafian follicle. The Graafian follicle, it has corpus luteum. Secondary oocyte. Rupturing of Graafian follicle to produce corpus haemorrhagian. Then it enter into the corpus luteum stage. This corpus luteum act like temporarily endocrine system to produce the hormone. The hormone is progesterone. And then again it's after a number of days it's degenerate. That means it's degenerate into the ovary. If fertilization takes place, then it produces the degenerate corpus luteum is called as corpus albuginum. And then next to discuss about the structure of Graafian follicle or secondary oocyte. Next, structure of Graafian follicle. Structure of Graafian follicle. Next, the structure of Graafian follicle or structure of secondary oocyte. If you observe the structure of secondary oocyte, the middle of it is a mass of cell. The secondary oocyte, which is surrounded by group of cells, it has two layered cells. Group of cells which is surrounded by secondary oocyte. This is secondary oocyte. These two layered cells. First outer layer is theca externa and second inner layer is called as theca internal. Group of cells. Here there is a space between secondary oocyte and outer layer of the cell. There is a space between secondary oocyte and outer layer of the cell. The space is called as antrum. The space is called as antrum. The antrum, it has liquid to give nutrient to the secondary oocyte for further development to produce the ovum or egg. The liquid is called as liquid or liquid follicular. Then the secondary oocyte, which is covered by group of cells. The cells are called as discus proliginous. The outer layer of the secondary oocyte cells are called as discus proliginous. The secondary oocyte, outer layer Graafian follicle. That means the secondary oocyte floats on the liquid. But here one area which is attached to the Graafian follicle, the area which is attached to the secondary oocyte to the Graafian follicle is called as germ hill cumulus operus. Germ hill cumulus operus, which is attached the secondary oocyte to the Graafian follicle. This is the structure of Graafian follicle and secondary oocyte. Then the secondary oocyte developed into ovum. The ruptured here, the secondary oocyte ruptured and released secondary oocyte. This is secondary oocyte. The ruptured Graafian follicle is called as corpus luteum. Then next important structure of the female reproductive system, that is vulva. Let's see the structure of vulva. Next structure is vulva. Vulva is commonly called as external female genital structure. This is called as external female genital structure. The vulva, it is external female genital structure. It is depression area. It is a depression area. This is called as vestibula. The depression area, it is vestibula. It has two openings. The upper opening is called as urethral opening or urethral orifice. The lower part of the vestibula is vaginal opening or vaginal orifice. The vaginal orifice, it is covered by very thin layer. That layer is called as hymen. What is that? Hymen or virgin layer in female. Then the entire vestibula is surrounded by layers. That layer is called as the vagina, which is covered by thin layer. The layer is called as hymen. It is called as virgin in female. And then the vestibula is surrounded by slightly folded skin. The skin is called as labia, which is guarded the vestibula. The top of the vestibula, there is a small tissue. It is called as clitoris. Clitoris is nothing but it is one of the in male like penis. Here is some homosexual organs also here, like in male, in female, clitoris, in female, penis. This is the homologous organs. Some extragenital organs are similar to the each to the female and male. Then the labia, which is minute flowing folded skin. The labia are again surrounded by the another structure. It has a highly foldable skin, that is labia majora, labia minor, labia majora and labia minor. It has a highly foldable structure. Here some bulge-like structure. This is guarded the clitoris. This is prepucia, which is guarded the clitoris. The slightly foldable structure, it's covered the clitoris. Here some extragenital pubic hair, which is pubic hair, which is developed at the age of puberty. That is one of the secondary sexual character of the female. This is the structure of vulva. It has a groove structure, that is vestibula. It has two openings. Upper opening is urethral opening or urethral orifice. Lower opening is vaginal opening. The vagina is guarded by a thin layer, that is hymen layer. Then again the vestibula is guarded by the foldable structure. foldable skin structure. The folds are called as labia lips or labia skin, which is guarded by the clitoris. The clitoris is the homologous organ of male and female. In female it is clitoris, in male it is penis. There are some glands also present in vagina area. The glands are here. Two, that means one pair of gland, that is Bartholin glands. Here in female clitoris, in male penis. In female Bartholin glands, in males Cowper's glands, which give mucus and give lubrication nature to the vagina, which is in reproduction process. This Bartholin gland produce mucus to give moisture to the vagina. And then another important gland, that is mammary gland. Mammary gland is called as breast gland to produce milk after parturition. The production of milk is called as lactation. Let's see the slide related to the mammary glands. This diagram represents the structure of ovum. Structure of ovary. What is that? Structure of ovary. This ovary, it has blood vessels. These blood vessels supply the blood to the ovary. From the ovary, every month we get one egg or one ovum. Production of ovum or egg is called as oogenesis. What is that? Oogenesis. During the oogenesis, the ovary release egg. How this process takes place? The primary cells are called as primary follicles. That means each ovary, it has 60 to 80,000 follicles, either left or right side of the ovary at the age of puberty. These cells are developed into big in size to form tertiary follicle showing antherium. These antherium cell again enter into the next stage. The stage of the follicle is called as Graafian follicle. This Graafian follicle it is developed into the next stage of releasing of ovum. That means the ovum is released from the Graafian follicle. This ovum is collected by fallopian tube. The ruptured Graafian follicle is called as carpus luteum. This is Graafian follicle. This is the ovum. The Graafian follicle release the egg or ovum. The ruptured Graafian follicle is called as carpus luteum. This carpus luteum, it has blood. After releasing of the ovum, the carpus luteum release its blood as bleeding. If fertilization is not takes place, if the fertilization is not takes place at the fallopian tube, the carpus luteum disappear again. The formation of ovum takes place. If fertilization takes place, there is no formation of egg for next month. This is the structure of ovary.
My name is Triveni. Subject History. Second year History. We have completed 5 chapters. Now I present to you important question and answers related to these 5 chapters. Okay, my dears? Second year History. We have completed 5 chapters. Now I present to you important question and answers related to these 5 lessons. In the first lesson, 5 question were given in the textbook. Now all of you look at the board. Our first lesson is early story of mankind. Early story of mankind. 5 more question is write the differences of the hominoids and homonids. Write the differences of the hominoids and homonids. First point, human beings resembling us originated about 1,60,000 years ago. Human beings resembling 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 us originated about 1,60,000 years ago. Second point, social anthropologists 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 study and analysis the human existence. Social anthropologists study and analysis the human existence. So now we know about the hominoids and homonids differences. Look at this. Differences between hominoids and homonids. We are called sometimes homonids and homonoids. First point, hominoids. Hominoids have a smaller brain. Hominoids have a smaller brain. Homonids have a big brain. Homonids have a big brain. Hominoids, second point, they are walking on all four but with flexible four limbs. They are walking on all four but with flexible four limbs. Hominoids, second point, they have upright posture and walking on 2 feet. They have upright posture and walking on 2 feet. Hominoids, third point, hand is not so flexible. Hand is not so flexible. Hominoids. Specialization of the hand is different. Specialization of the hand is different. Okay, my dears? First question. Write the differences of the hominoids and homonids. This is the 5-mark question. 5-mark question and answer. Give value. Look at the board and write down. Questions. 3 questions given in textbook. First question is Australopithecus. Second question is Neanderthal man. Third question foraging. First question Australopithecus. Second question Neanderthal man. Third question foraging. So first we are discussing about the first question Australopithecus. 2 more questions. The name Australopithecus comes from a Latin and Greek words. The name Australopithecus comes from a Latin and Greek words. Latin word is austral. What is that? Latin word is austral. It means southern. It means southern. Greek word pithecus. It means aid. Greek word Pithecus. It means aid. So totally Australopithecus means southern aid. Southern aid. This is more question. Answer, first question answer. The name Australopithecus comes from a Latin and Greek words. Latin word Austral, it means southern. Greek word Pithecus, it means egg. Total Australopithecus means southern egg. Okay, write down. Second question, Neanderthal man. First point, in the Neander Valley were categorized a Homo neanderthalensis. In the Neander Valley were categorized a Homo neanderthalensis. 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 Second point. The Neanderthals occupied Europe and Western and Central Asia from roughly 1,30,000 to 35,000 years. The Neanderthals occupied Europe and Western and Central Asia from roughly 1,30,000 to 35,000 years. This is the Neanderthal man. Question and answer. Okay. Then third question, foraging. 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 So first of all, what is the meaning of foraging? Foraging means search widely for food or provision. Search widely for food or provisions. What is the meaning of provision? The action of providing or supplying something for use. Provision means the action of providing or supplying something for use. Okay? Look at the board. Look at the board. First point, the early hominids foraged for meat and marrow from the carcasses of animals that had died naturally or had been killed by other predators. First of all, we know about the meaning of marrow and carcasses and predators. What is the meaning of marrow? A long white flashed gourd with green skin which is eaten as a vegetable. What is the meaning? Marrow means a long white flashed gourd with green skin which is eaten as a vegetable. And what is the meaning of carcasses? Carcass means the dead body of an animal. The dead body of an animal. And predator means a person. Predator means person. Okay? First point, the early hominids foraged for meat and marrow. M-A-R-R-O-W. Marrow from the carcasses of animals that had died naturally or had been killed by other predators. Carcasses spelling C-A-R-C-A-S-S-E-S. Carcasses. Predators means P-R-E-D-A-T-O-R-S. Predators. And second point, an example, small mammals. Small mammals like birds, reptiles and even insects. What is that example for us? Small mammals like birds, reptiles and even insects. This is the two more questions important based on the first chapter early story of mankind. Okay my dears, look at the board and write neatly. Look at the board. Okay my dears, in this lesson name is early story of independent questions given. 5 mark questions 1, 2 mark questions 3. So read well, write well. Okay, thank you. One and all. Now we are ending the first lesson. Now we are starting the second lesson based on the textbook. What is the second lesson? The oldest civilization in world, Mesopotamia, writing and city life. What is that second lesson? The oldest civilization in world, Mesopotamia, writing and city life. It is a shortcut. Okay. Then in this lesson based 10 mark questions given by 2. 10 mark questions given by 2. First question. Write about the features of city life in Mesopotamians. Write about the features of city life in Mesopotamians. Answer. Given 12 points. First point. The ancient Mesopotamians lived in cities. The ancient Mesopotamians lived in cities. Second point. These cities were surrounded by numerous satellite villages. These cities were surrounded by numerous satellite villages. Third point. The chief city of southern Mesopotamia could have a population of 1 lakh. The chief city of southern southern Mesopotamia could have a population of 1 lakh. Fourth point. Those who were put to work were paid rations. Those who were put to work were paid rations. Fifth point. Food grains, cloth, oil were allotted as ration for them. Food grains, cloth, oil were allotted as ration for them. Sixth point. A close watch of lifestyle in Mesopotamian civilization. A close watch of lifestyle in Mesopotamian civilization. Seventh point. We can observe a rich and elite class of people enjoyed the major share of wealth. We can observe a rich and elite class of people enjoyed the major share of wealth. 8 point. A nuclear family comprises a man, his wife and children. A nuclear family comprises a man, his wife and children. 9 point. The father was the head of the family. The father was the head of the family, Mesopotamian civilization. 10th point. In the process of marriage, both girl side and boy side, both the parties give a declaration of willingness. In the process of marriage, both the parties give a declaration of willingness. 11th point. Exchanging of gifts, a grand get-together and visiting a temple. Exchanging of gifts, a grand get-together and visiting a temple. 12th point. Only sons inherit, inherit the property of the father, and female get only a small gift of share. Only sons inherit the property of the father, and female get only a small gift of share. Okay, my dears, this is the first question of the oldest civilization in world, Mesopotamia, writing and city life. This is the most important question given the 10 marks question. Okay, look at the board, look at the chart, all of you. Okay, clear? Now we are discuss the second question. Okay. Okay, ladies, this is the second question. What are the salient features of the Mesopotamia civilization? What are the salient features of the Mesopotamia civilization? First point, Mesopotamia civilization was a beginner of city life in ancient civilization. Mesopotamia civilization was a beginner of city life in ancient civilizations. Second point, Mesopotamia is derived from the Greek word mesos, M-E-S-O-S, mesos, and potamus, P-O-T-A-M-O-S, potamus, which means middle of rivers. Middle of rivers. Third point, this area is now a part of the Republic of Iraq. This area is now a part of the Republic of Iraq. Fourth point, Mesopotamian civilization is known for its prosperity, city life, and rich literature. Mesopotamian civilization is known for its prosperity, city life, and rich literature. Fifth point, Mesopotamians contributed for mathematics and astronomy. Mesopotamians contributed for mathematics and astronomy. Sixth point, Mesopotamians' writing system and literature spread to the eastern Mediterranean, northern Syria and Turkey. Mesopotamians' writing system and literature spread to the eastern Mediterranean, northern Syria and Turkey. Seventh point, the first known language of the Mesopotamians was Sumerian. The first known language of the Mesopotamians was Sumerian. S-U-M-E-R-I-A-N. Sumerian. Eighth point, in 1930 excavations, one of the earliest cities have been found Ur town in one. In 1930 excavations, one of the earliest cities have been found Ur town in one. Okay. First of all, these 8 points are write on your notes. point. Babylon was a premier city of the world, spread over more than 850 hectares. Babylon was a premier city of the world, spread over more than 850 hectares. Hectares, hectares. 10 point. Ancient Mesopotamians have trade relations with Turkey and Iran. Ancient Mesopotamians have trade relations with Turkey and Iran. 11 point. The cheapest mode of transport is over water. This is the most important Mesopotamia point. The cheapest mode of transport is over water. 12 point. The Mesopotamians were the first to build cities, use the potter's wheel, develop writings, use bronze in large quantities, and so on. The Mesopotamians were the first to build cities, use the potter's wheel, develop writings, use bronze in large quantities, and so on. Okay, my dears, this is 2 questions given 10 marks based. Okay, read well, write well, and write down 9, 10, 11, 12 points. Okay. Okay, now 5 more questions. Given 3 questions. First question. What are the geographical conditions of Mesopotamian? What are the geographical conditions of Mesopotamian? First point. The environment of Mesopotamia is diverse. The environment of Mesopotamia is diverse. Second point. In the northeastern life, green gradually raising to trees covered mountain ranges with clear streams and wild flowers with enough rainfall to grow crops reflect life of people. Okay. Second point is a very large point. Please understand, all of you. In the northeastern life, green gradually raising to trees covered mountain ranges with clear streams and wild flowers with enough rainfall to grow crops reflect life of people. Okay. Then third point. Between 7000 BC and 6000 BC, agriculture began. Okay. Between 7000 BC and 6000 BC, agriculture began. Another livelihood for the people was animal herding. 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 Okay. What are that? Sheep and goats in large number feed on the grasses, and many people depended on herding. Sheep and goats in large number feed on the grasses, and many people depended on herding. Fifth point. The south of the country is a desert. I told the lesson point of view. What is the occupied in the south side of desert? That is Sahara desert. Okay, my dears. The south of the country is a desert. What is is that desert? Sahara Desert. Okay, clear? Look at that and write down neatly. Now, second question. Write about the significance of Babylon city. Write about the significance of Babylon city. Okay. First of all, we know about the ziggurats. What is the connection between Babylon city and ziggurats? Okay. Look at the chart. Ziggurats is the white temple of Uruk in ancient Sumerian. Ziggurat is the white temple of Uruk in ancient Samaria. The second point, the Ziggurat Babylonia was known as Itamankia. The Ziggurat Babylonia was known as Itamankia. 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 And the third point, what is the meaning of ziggurats? The meaning of this word in Sumerian language was house of the platform between heaven and earth. The meaning of this word in Sumerian language was house of the platform between heaven and earth. And fourth point, Babylon was a premier city of the world, spread over more than 850 hectares. We read the 10 marks questions. 850 hectares. Okay. Babylon was a premier city of the world, spread over more than 850 hectares. Next one. This was a city with triple wall, great palace and temples, and ziggurat or step tower. Okay. This was a city with triple wall, great palace and temples, and ziggurat or stepped tower. Sixth point, Iran conquered Babylon and until 331 BC. BC means before Christ. 331 BC, when Alexander conquered Babylon was a great city. Okay? Look at the chart and write neatly. Third question, what are tablets? What are tablets? First point, thousands of years ago, Mesopotamians started recording daily events, trade, astronomy and literature on clock tables. Okay, my dears? Thousands of years ago, Mesopotamians started recording daily events, trade, astronomy and literature on clay tablets. Second point, Mesopotamian used tablets of clay made. Very important. What's that made in? Clay. A scribe would wet clay and pat it into a size one could hold comfortably in one hand. A scribe would wet clay and pat it into a size one could hold comfortably in one hand. The surface of the tablet would be carefully smoothed. Fifth one, once the surface dried, signs could not be pressed onto a tablet. So each transaction, however minor, required a separate written tablet. Once the surface dried, signs could not be pressed onto a tablet. So each transaction, however minor, required a separate written tablets. Okay, my dears, I given to the 10 mark questions 2 and 5 mark questions 3. Now we are discussing about the 2 mark questions. Okay, first of all, write neatly. Third question. This is the 2 mark questions. First of all, we discussing the cuneiform. Okay, cuneiform, CUNEIFORM, cuneiform. 2600 BC, the system of writing becomes cuneiform. Which year? 2600 BC, the system of writing becomes cuneiform. The language was Sumerian. Okay, my dears, cuneiform language was Sumerian language. Land transfer. What mentioned in the cuneiform literature? Okay, land transfers, king made laws and customs of the local area all were recorded in the writing system of cuneiform. Land transfers, king made laws and customs of the local area all were recorded in the writing system of cuneiform. Okay, this is the cuneiform. What language is cuneiform? Sumerian language. What recorded? Land transfers, king made laws and customs of the local areas. Okay, my dears, this is cuneiform. It is a 2 mark question. And second question, Palace of Mari. Palace of Mari. The royal residence of King Gemarlian, Zimalian, Gemarlian, dated 1810 to 1760 BC. The royal residence of King Gemarlian dated 1810 to 1760 BC. The palace had only one entrance on the north side. Mari entrance is a one side only, that is north side only. The palace was a sprawling structure. What's the structure of Mari? Sprawling. Sprawling spelling SPRAWLING. Sprawling structure. Covered an area of 2 to 4 hectares. Which hectares? How many hectares? 2 to 4 hectares. And how many rooms in this Mari palace? 260 palace. Okay. 260 rooms. The palace was a sprawling structure, covered an area of 2 to 4 hectares and rooms 260 rooms. Okay. Then final question in this lesson. What is the lesson name? The oldest civilization, Mesopotamia, writing and city life. Okay. Uruk city. We know about one of the interesting king. The name was Gilgamesh. Okay. Uruk city. Gilgamesh, ruler of Uruk city, was a great hero. Who was Gilgamesh? Which ruler city? Uruk city. Great hero. He helped many poor people. was a great hero. He helped many poor people. He set out to find the secret of immortality. Okay, my dears. Then we know about the first lesson and second lesson. First lesson and second lesson, important question and answers I will give you. So please write and read carefully. Okay, my dears? And write up 2 more questions. Okay, my dears. If any doubts, please raise your hands. These 2 chapters, important questions